perfectly correct. We're going to be talking about St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, tickle me, Blarney Stone.
And Jeff being, half Irish?
Probably at least.
Somewhere in there?
You know, I like to tell people I'm half Irish, half English. I kick my own ass.
That's actually really good. I like
Isn't
that.
it, though?
Yeah.
Especially if you know my last name and you know a little bit about a history. It is.
With Cromwell?
Oh, thanks. Let's just put it all out there.
You can.
No, it's fine.
Okay.
I mean, it's not like it's that hard to find. But yeah, you know, Lord Oliver Cromwell comes in and kills 5-6.
Lord?
Well, yeah, he proclaimed himself Lord after you kill 5-6 of the population of Ireland and push out all the Catholics and make the rest Protestants.
Boom.
There
Lord.
you go.
I guess, who's going to challenge him at that point?
It's one of the reasons I don't want to go to Ireland.
Yeah.
In certain parts, I'll probably be like, "Oh yeah, you're awesome." The Catholic parts, not so much.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of Catholic parts now, thanks to St. Patrick.
Hey,
that's kind of what he got, I guess, famous for to begin with.
What's that?
Was bringing Catholicism to Ireland. That was his big deal.
He was bringing the green cloak to the Catholics. Is that what you're telling me?
He brought a blue cloak to the Catholics.
What?
His color was blue.
Really?
Yes.
Because he was sad?
No.
No?
No, but he was, most of the depictions of him and all that, and his color was blue.
Did they call him St. Patrick then?
No.
No.
I think you only reach sainthood if you die. You have to ask a Catholic if you do that. But I think you have to do miracles too, so I'm like, we won't go down the whole...
It's probably the only religious holiday you celebrate, isn't it?
I mean, I guess I celebrate it, kind of. It's like I drink a lot anyway, so It's, hey, everybody's joining me this time. It's more like
Today I'm not an alcoholic. I'm just Irish for the day.
Exactly, yes.
Yeah.
Another funny, and we have so many fun facts to cover, about the things that I learned doing research for this episode.
What did you learn, Jay?
Well, one of them
Educate this little
was
Irish
that
man.
For quite a while, let me find it here again. This is from Catholic.org, by the way. I actually went to a Catholic website to get this information.
So it's divine.
Well played. It's something. For a while, it was illegal to drink, or I guess drinking wasn't a part of St. Patrick's Day in Ireland.
Well, imagine that.
From 1903 to 1970, they made it a religious holiday, which effectively shut down all the taverns, the pubs, all the bars were closed. They didn't want you drinking on St. Patrick's Day.
Sounds like a good idea.
And then over here in America, we're like, woohoo! Let's dye everything green and get fucked up.
That's anytime we can disparage another, community and say, hey, let's highlight the stereotypes of their condition here and celebrate it.
That's another question. Like, why is everything else cultural appropriation, but when it comes to St. Patrick's Day, nobody seems to really give a fuck? Is it because the Irish are just laid back and they're like, go ahead, appropriate my culture. We don't care. We're busy doing things.
Yeah, you've done worse things to us. You might as well just drink beer and, try to find our damn gold and it ain't there.
Yeah. But yeah, it was definitely illegal to drink. Or I guess I shouldn't say illegal to drink, but all the bars were closed down.
Made it much more difficult.
Yeah. And then I think they realized that, okay, this isn't working anymore. But it turned into what it is in America through what you keep talking about, the trouble that the Irish immigrants were going through back when they made the big immigration over.
Mm-hmm.
And to get past that, they realized, well, we need to get some political power. And to do that, you need to get popular. So while they were trying to assimilate their culture and mesh it with the culture that was already here, part of that was to throw these big celebrations. And one of their big holidays was St. Patrick's Day, so that's when they do the big parades, do the big parties, and the reason for that was to gain political favor and to gain voters and to, hey, we're cool Irish, we're having a good time, come hang out with us, and that sort of thing.
Speaking of being Irish, and my grandfather on my mother's side, my mom's dad, was first generation American. His parents were from on the boat, I guess you'd say, off the boat. From the mainland, the motherland, the Emerald Isle. And, when I moved here to Ohio, I guess I was at that age that St. Patty's Day didn't really mean much to me from where I was from there. Obviously, I wasn't of age. I was a teenager. I get here and there's so much.
I thought you were a saint as well.
That's right. I get here and they start talking about this Jigs dinner and stuff. And I've never heard of a Jigs dinner before. I'm like, I know I'm pretty Irish, but I had no idea what this Jigs dinner is all about. And I have nothing, no.
Plus, you're from
reference.
the South, so
Midwest. But yes,
I call it the South.
I mean, we live here in the Middle East. That's the Midwest.
The Middle East.
I mean, geographically, it's more appropriate to say we live in the Middle East. Middle East of America.
I like that.
But, I mean, it's true. true, though.
I feel like our Middle East is doing better than the normally referred to Middle East. But all right, we'll move on.
We have
from
oil.
that.
They have oil. It's the same thing, right? But anyway,
we'll
my
get to
point
that in
was
another episode.
that, I did have a conversation with my mom, and I said, hey, this Jig's dinner, have you ever heard of it? She goes, what? She didn't really. Oh, boiled dinner. Yeah. I'm like, why didn't we ever celebrate anything like that? It seems like everybody here that's not even Irish eats this crap. And
it is bad,
I hate
too.
it. Oh,
It's
I love it now.
really?
I absolutely fantastically love
Like
it.
the cabbage and the boiled.
Yes, and
so
I used to hate
it's
cabbage
so
and everything
gross.
back in the day, but
I like cabbage and coleslaw. But
she pointed out to me, she goes, my great-grandparents, when they came here, they wanted to assimilate. They did not want to be Irish. They wanted to be American.
so they dropped everything.
Dropped everything. Like, they weren't, didn't have Irish flags around or anything like that. I think the only thing Irish we had in the house was a shillelagh. That it just happened to have one, and I remember it being up against the fireplace in the house. But that was the only Irish thing.
And when neighbors would come over, they'd be like, "Put the shillelagh in the closet, hide that, hide that."
All I knew was I was Irish, and I didn't know anything else about it.
That was it.
Red hair, and that's that.
Yeah.
We didn't talk. It just wasn't a thing.
Yeah,
just wasn't important.
which is, I guess, not bad to not.
But there's a lot of stereotypes. My grandfather was a cop in Chicago. So you got.
Was he Catholic?
Yes.
Perfect.
Well, forced Catholic, I guess you'd say. His wife was Catholic. He didn't really care.
If you get
And he was an alcoholic
if you
for
get
a
right
while.
down to it, all Catholics are forced.
Is that what it is?
In my opinion.
Yeah, I'm a Protestant.
What they call those?
What?
That big war that came through.
The Crusades?
Yeah, those things. Yeah.
Gotcha.
Yep. Crusading to be Catholic. I should get a T-shirt that says that. I like that.
Crusading to be Catholic.
That's a good idea.
So I just thought that was interesting, as the, Irish came over here, at least my side of it, they didn't want to be Irish anymore. They wanted to be American.
Yeah.
And I always thought that was interesting, and I get here, and I don't know jack about
nothing about
my culture or anything like that.
I didn't know a lot about St. Patrick's Day, other than it's always been a big party weekend, a big party, and we've played shows on St. Patrick's Day. We've
it's almost like spring break for adults that don't go to college.
Kind of.
Right.
Yeah.
It's that springtime, get out, middle of March. It's almost warm. It's not warm. But you go out and everybody parties and gets drunk. And
it's just like
it's amateur drinking day.
Yeah, amateur drinking day. Somebody who said that earlier.
Oh, I'm sure it's been said.
Rookie drinking day. I
Rookie
know.
drinking day.
Kevin said that earlier. Yeah. Yep. That was a funny one.
Rookie drinking day
made me chuckle. So yeah, we covered the St. Patrick's color was actually blue, not green. That was changed for the Shamrock, the Emerald Isle, all that was a big political deal. So you're all celebrating the wrong color. The other big one that I did not know was that St. Patrick isn't even Irish.
No kidding.
He is not from Ireland.
I did not know that.
Yep, there you go. His parents were Roman citizens, and they lived, what is now England.
What was it then?
So I guess Scotland or Wales. Oh boy, yep. Things just fall over sometimes.
You're a douche whistle.
Yeah,
that was a little leprechaun came up and wasn't happy with you talking about his saint.
Well, that's the truth. So he was kidnapped when he was 16. He was actually from a well-off family. Kidnapped at 16, and this is all going on history that was from 385 AD. So who knows? But kidnapped, taken to Ireland as a slave. Was a slave in Ireland for a period of time. Escaped, went back to England, what is now England, and then he spoke with his family, decided he didn't want to live the whole high life. He wanted to go spread Catholicism everywhere, went back to Ireland as a bishop, I think, or I don't know, pope. They're all the same, right?
Such an authority on this.
Went back and spread Christianity, or Catholicism, I should say, throughout Ireland, and that's how he got known.
Well, I think one goes diagonal on the chessboard, and the other one can go anywhere at once.
Right.
It's about as much about the Pope and the bishop.
That'd be a bishop and a queen. The queen can go anywhere.
They both wear funny hats.
The rook go. I'll teach you to play chess sometime.
I actually did not play chess.
Good.
It was a joke.
Right. I was just making sure.
It's for comedy, man. Comedy.
I didn't know.
This is actually a
lot of people don't know how to
show.
play chess.
This is true.
So I didn't know. So yeah, so we're celebrating St. Patrick's Day. Everybody's like, oh, everybody's Irish today. St. Patrick wasn't even Irish.
Kiss me, I'm Irish.
But back then, it wasn't uncommon when you were trying to spread Catholicism to do it in maybe not the nicest way. It wasn't like hey, you want to come be a Catholic? It's fun over here. It was, hey, you're Catholic now. You want to be Catholic? Now you're dead. And that was that. So he really just turned all the pagans or the Druids into Catholics
and alcoholics.
I don't think he turned them into alcoholics.
You sure?
Maybe. I have no idea how that worked. I didn't look up the history of alcoholism in Ireland.
Well, it's not called alcoholism there.
It's just being Irish, okay? Is that it?
Yeah, I think so.
You're just calling the stereotype true?
Yeah. I don't know.
I'm German, so that makes sense
there
for me
you go
then.
too, yeah.
So yeah, I think it's weird that you're celebrating. I mean, I can't think that you in that time frame around 400 and whatever AD, you weren't spreading Catholicism with pamphlets and like ice cream socials. I think you were bludgeoning people, and you either get on board or you don't exist anymore.
Such a dark side to such a fun holiday.
Right? So it's kind of weird when you look back. And I know I did find out, too, that a lot of pagans on St. Patrick's Day wear all black. They kind of do the anti-celebration of St. Patrick because of how many pagans he is said to kill. There's a huge fight on the internet about...
fight on the internet?
I know, right? Who would have thought? But, some people... He didn't use violence. He just built churches and did good and did all that. And then some people... He killed everyone that didn't agree with him, which sounds more accurate in that time period to me.
Yeah, I would say that's probably pretty accurate. Of course, the people who win the war get to write the history books.
That's exactly, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
You never read history from the side of the losers.
Mm-mm.
But even on this Catholic.org site, the legend about St. Patrick driving all the snakes from Ireland. Well, first, there's no fossil records of snakes on Ireland. So if you believe in a globe Earth and the sun and fossils record, or fossil records.
Well, I'm going to stop you there.
Yeah, yes, go ahead.
Okay, so the fossil record, as accurate as it may be, is not all that accurate.
Correct.
In the short period of time.
Well, the climate isn't right for snakes either.
Fair enough.
It's not a good climate for snakes. There's not a lot of snakes in Canada,
no, but there are some.
I don't know. There's
some here too.
Yeah, we have some. Yeah,
I would say our weather's fairly comparable to Ireland,
but we're also not on an island.
We're just on a really big island.
Well, yeah, I guess it is. We're all on islands.
By definition.
The dumbest thing I've ever said on this podcast.
That's debatable.
Yeah, right. We're all on a rock too. Okay,
that's true.
But
that's true.
That's true. It's so funny. I'm not even gonna. We'll just move on from that. Maybe we'll put some in the comments. But about the snakes, what they say is a lot.
I think what he meant by snakes was the Protestants.
Yes, and the Druids and the pagans were listed as snakes, and he drove them from it. So
snakes being the evil, right, serpents of.
So when they say he drove the snakes from Ireland, it's more like, you don't agree with me now, you're not in Ireland anymore because you're dead.
Man, you're ruining my buzz, Jay. I really was looking forward to having my green beer.
I'm hoping everybody's got the, because it's Monday now. It's the day after St. Patrick's Day. You're all hungover. And now I'm like, oh, no, not only do you regret how much you drank, but are you regretting the guy you're celebrating? He sounds like kind of a dick,
Right.
I mean.
True. And you think about this, too. I think of Mardi Gras and St. Patty's Day is very similar in nature, but focused at two different ethnic groups.
Yeah.
Just has the same kind of feel to it, to me, at least celebrated here anyway. The debauchery and the drinking and all the things that go along with it are so anti,
at most
religious for that matter. But,
exactly. Well, yeah, they are, yeah. And it's funny.
Took on a life of its own just as a party.
Yeah, because you're celebrating a Catholic holiday, and you forget that it's Saint Patrick. He's a Catholic saint, and here you are with kegs and eggs first thing in the fucking morning with your Guinness, getting hammered before 10.
Been there, done that.
Yeah, I think pretty much all of us have.
Right.
And that's how you're celebrating this Catholic holiday, even though obviously it's celebrating people who aren't Catholic as well. But it's just funny how it got culturally appropriated into this giant debauchery fest, which I'm always down for. But
for sure, I mean, we live next to a little college town that gets a lot of business on on St. Patty's
BG?
Day. BG,
Yeah.
Bowling Green State University. So last year, I decided I was going to work. It was a Saturday. St. Patty's Day was on Saturday. And I decided, hell with it. I wasn't going to drink. I wasn't going to party this day. I was going to make a little money. So I ran Uber for that Saturday.
Did you regret that?
No, I made a ton of money.
Really?
I did.
Was it worth it though?
It was. It was hilarious. Okay. It was absolutely hilarious.
I can't stand drunk people when I'm sober.
You know, it wasn't so bad because it was daylight. I didn't do anything at past dark.
Oh, okay. That's not terrible.
But in Bowling Green, they start at like 4:30, 5 o'clock in the morning. There was literally 2 shifts of drunks. I was taking, when I came in, it was middle part of the day. It was the people that came out at 4 or 5 in the morning were going home to take a nap.
And then come back out later.
And I was taking
out
the second shift people. And then when I went and started taking them back, I started picking up the people I dropped off earlier in the day. At, I was
tried to sleep a little bit off, and
they slept it off, and we're going back out.
Poor kids don't even know how cocaine works.
So the only green I was having on that St. Patty's Day was the cash rolling in.
That's good.
But it was this year, being that it's on a Sunday. That's not really part of it, but being on Sunday, somehow their spring break wound up overlapping that weekend of St. Patty's Day, and it's such a big holiday. Yeah, such a big holiday for Bowling Green. They decided the bars and everything in town decided we're gonna have St. Patty's Day a week early, and we're gonna call it St. Practice Day. So they created their own little holiday called St. Practice Day, and they had their holiday celebration this last Saturday.
Nice. And they'll still have one.
I'm sure they'll have
weekend,
some, but a lot of the students are gone. They're on spring break.
So a lot of it happened last weekend. That's funny.
But somebody who was telling me this, they were talking with a bartender that happened to be at the store. They work at another grocery store during the daytime, and like, oh, what? And he had a couple packets of green dye, right?
Yeah.
And he was a bartender, and he was in charge of getting the dye to go dye the beer. And she's like, well, why do you have it? Oh, I'm supposed to be dyeing the beer, and it's RIT dye, clothes dye, like with lye in it.
No.
Yeah.
Did someone stop him?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
She goes, that would have been really bad. I think I actually stopped some people from dying this weekend because this kid was going to use RIT dye to dye. Hopefully somebody was stopped if he ever got there. But it's like, well, what do you dye it with, right? He had no idea.
What do you, not that.
Not that.
Exactly not that.
Food coloring, man.
Wow.
Food coloring.
Well, this rat poison's kind of got a green tint to it. Let's dump that in there. See if it changes color.
That's ridiculous.
That's hilarious.
You know what? A silly other tradition is.
It would have made national news, though.
It would have.
Any publicity is good publicity, right? That's what they say.
I don't know about that. You talk about some of the other traditions, like in Chicago, where my grandfather was a police officer for a while. Not stereotypical at all.
A copper.
A copper. Yeah, that's funny. And they dye the river green.
Yes, which I have never seen in real life.
I did.
See, I've been to Chicago numerous times. Mm-hmm. Always at the wrong.
So the last time St. Patty's Day was on a Saturday, I wound up randomly enough getting a trip, going with a couple people that I didn't really know, to Chicago to celebrate St. Patty's Day.
Sketchy shit.
It was kind of sketchy. It was fun though.
Met him on Craigslist.
Well, one of the guys I knew from a bowling.
I left after one of them tried taking my skin off. Got kind of weird.
Well, I went over with them in there, and well, funny thing is, actually, when I got into the car, I knew one person that were going. I get into the car, and another person in the car I had actually met on Match.com like 6 months ago, and like it didn't work out.
What was his name?
Yeah, funny. So I'm like a little awkward there, and of course I'm like, oh, hey you, I know you.
I never called you back.
But we get there, and that's one of the things I wanted to see was the river, and it was 70 degrees, a beautiful day.
Oh, nice.
And I looked at it, and I thought, okay, it's green, but it doesn't look much different than the rivers around here.
Yeah.
I don't know if you've ever seen the algae blooms, but it didn't much look different there. So I kind of got curious. So I started looking up, wow, how do they do that?
You're like, hey, Lake Erie has this all the time.
Yeah, right. I said, how do they do that? And so I started looking it up. And for those of you who don't know, I believe it was back in, what was it? Oh, crap. In the 60s. They switched it over, but before that, they were using
actual Irish people.
Actually, Irish people,
ground up Irish people. They turned green.
That's
okay,
right.
I knew it.
Green blood.
That is absolutely my fault.
And that's time for a break.
No, that's my fault.
Okay,
sometimes
we're getting a sponsor,
and that won't happen again now because I have fixed that.
So anyway, these plumbers were putting this dye down the drains because there was some pollution concerns going on in Chicago that some of these factories were dumping raw sewage into the river.
And they were trying to track.
Yeah, so they would dump this dye down through their drains inside the factory, and they would go out and look in the river and see if it came out. Yeah.
Common practice.
Yeah, and it's one guy was walking by and had seen, like, hey, what are you doing? And they're looking over and see this green dye come out. And he thought, hey, that'd be a good idea for their parade that they were, going to plan. So they did, and they've used that dye for a long time. But that dye was an oil-based dye.
Oh, are you kidding me?
No, and was very, very toxic. I shouldn't say very, very toxic, but very toxic to the waterway there, and it lasted way longer than it probably should. And it took until the 60s before they changed it.
When did it start?
I
thought it started like way back when.
I believe it was in... I'll have to look that up here real quick. You give me a second.
No, that's fine. Either way, like, who would think that's a good idea? Shuffle your papers, Rush Limbaugh. In your formerly nicotine.
So I guess it was the 60s. It was the tradition was born in 1962.
Okay.
100 pounds of dye was poured into the river, and the river was green for a week. So a little bit overdone. It wasn't quite the intention they had had.
Oh, but do you know how many years they used it or no?
It was until very recently, I think it was until the 80s.
Really?
70s, 80s.
So for 20 some odd years there, every year they were just like, let's put some more oil-based stuff in the water.
And now they have now it's 6 local union plumbers that go out on 2 different boats, and they have a vegetable dye now that they go and put out. So four of the plumbers go on the big boat, and 2 of the other ones go on another one, and they have little flour sifters, and they basically go down the river and sift the vegetable dye into the river, and it only lasts. They say it takes about 5 hours for it to cycle.
Yeah.
So, but I remember it was there for a while.
That's
but then
hilarious.
Again, kind of hard to tell. The color of the river. I mean, it was a green. It was a very bright green.
And that,
first, so.
and that, ladies and gentlemen, is why you can't fish in downtown Chicago.
So I mean, it's creative. I mean, nothing's wrong with a party, right? But when you think about some of the things that we party for and some of the holidays that we observe and the actual root behind them, it's kind of strange. Yeah,
well,
it ruins it sometimes.
Honestly, though, the majority of the holidays that we have are all pagan based.
This is true.
Christmas, all that. It's if Christianity
wanted
to
assimilate Christianity, into people who didn't believe, it's like, we'll just take over their holidays and we'll just assimilate them right in.
Yep, and now they're ours.
Being Christmas and December and everything like that. Kind of interesting.
It is, but I learned a lot about the whole St. Patrick, thing behind it. I always, obviously it's St. Patrick. You always knew it was a Catholic thing. Didn't really care. But getting into it, I'm like, wow, you're celebrating kind of, what might have been, a jerk, possibly. The clover related to him. We'll touch on that one real quick. So the shamrock isn't a symbol of Ireland.
What?
It's actually a harp.
You mean like on Guinness?
Yeah, actually, yes. That's it.
Or harp beer?
So, yeah, the harp's been around for forever. And, the reason they went to the shamrock, it's rumored, I guess there's no proof of this, but that St. Patrick used the 3-leaf clover, the common one, as an idea for the Holy Trinity. Mm. And how you could have 3 different leaves, and it could be the Holy Trinity, and it could also be one in this one clover. So that's and that's where the shamrock came from. And I bet you back in, 400 and whatever AD, he never thought someday there'll be a shamrock shake. It probably never crossed
And I'm going to
mind.
be very unpopular here, but by far the nastiest shake I've ever had is the shamrock shake.
I've never had one.
And I tell you, man,
Because
people swear by that.
Milkshakes are gross.
Well, this is true. McDonald's
they're
milkshakes.
too
Remember when they
sweet.
used to be good? I'm talking 85,
when I was a kid,
86, 87.
Yeah, when I was a kid, you get like a chocolate milkshake.
But that shit's always broke now anyway, so it doesn't matter, right?
What's
the ice
that?
cream machine at
Is
McDonald's
it?
always
I
broke.
don't.
That's the joke.
Definitely don't eat ice cream. That's gross. And another fun fact that I found out, which I'm sure is just made up because, whatever. 4-leaf clovers are 1 in 10,000.
I tell you, I have a stepbrother.
I've
that can
never
find them suckers like
Really?
nobody's business. But
I
yeah,
don't think I've ever seen one in real life.
I've seen tons. He'll just walk right out there and he just, there's
Just
one.
Rain Man up a
There's
fucking
one.
4-leaf clover like it's nothing.
Rain Man. Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, he finds them all the time.
Too bad he can't get paid for something like that. Like, isn't that? You said it was your brother?
My stepbrother. Yeah.
Stepbrother? Then they just sucked it like, okay, well, that's what I can do. Shit. I mean, I can do other things too, but I'm really good at this,
Right.
and nobody cares.
Nobody gives a flying hoot. So what about the leprechaun? Why?
I don't know. I didn't look up any leprechaun things. I don't know anything about it other than they made some really terrible movies about like leprechauns in space or I don't know, something like that.
So it was prominent in folklore, but wasn't really what do you call it? A creature that rarely appears in Irish mythology and became prominent and later in folklore. So
I did learn that there are somehow no female leprechauns.
Is that kind of like Smurfs?
Well, I thought there was one, wasn't there?
She was created by Gargamel. Smurfette was
really?
Smurfette was created by Gargamel to infiltrate the Smurfs so that he could eat them, and she wound up assimilating with them and choosing to go against Gargamel.
So why would he make a chick? Oh, duh.
Yeah, right.
She'd be very popular.
Pretty much, yes. Good job,
I can't believe I even asked
Good
that.
job.
It took me like 0.5 seconds to figure that one out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, only one female Smurf.
Yeah, well, yeah, no, yeah, but then there's the whole conversation about Smurfs being asexual.
Well, they were always smurfing off. What?
Nothing to take that as you will.
What? I mean, it's just smurfing Smurf.
I'm not even gonna Smurf with you anymore.
All right.
How do we go from leprechauns to Smurf? Well, I guess
they're
that
both
makes
little
sense.
people.
That makes sense.
One's blue, one's green.
Yeah, I don't know a lot about leprechauns.
Can you call a leprechaun a little person?
I don't. Well, they're not real, so I guess it's okay. It looks like you're taking a picture of me right now.
I'm not.
He's holding his phone up to read things.
I did find, speaking, this is totally off the kilter here, but I saw the end of a rainbow once.
Is that even possible?
That's what I thought, too. But you think about it. Yeah,
Well, I mean, they all end.
totally, exactly.
You stop, your field of vision changes, and you no longer see the light refracting through the water molecules in the air. But it ends in your point of view, not in everyone's.
Yeah, I guess so.
So if yours ends at an altitude of 100 feet, somebody else is going to see it ending at 60
Potentially,
feet.
yeah. But I was driving down the road, and it must have been just on the what we'd say the trail end of the storm, the rain coming down and the sun in perfect position, and it looked like it was just about 30, 40 feet right outside the car, and of course it went with me, it stayed there.
Yeah.
But it was just so crazy, like this little, back into the rainbow was just right along the side of the road with me, and I watched it the whole time.
You should have videoed it.
I actually do have some photos of it.
Do you really?
I do. I'll have to share them with you later, yeah.
But no, you should have, the whole double rainbow guy,
There was a double rainbow.
He blew up.
Oh, he had a hit
what
song,
does it
man.
mean? It just means...
It means refraction of light.
Yeah, that's
science.
Same thing as the first one, fella.
So do you feel cheated since you're an atheist that you've been celebrating this Catholic holiday?
No.
No?
No, I mean, I celebrated Christmas most of my life. The only reason I don't celebrate now, and I guess, we still get together as a family,
Why did everybody start getting drunk, though, on this day?
Because you Irish people. That's what I said. I said you people.
I don't know. I think the Irish are probably the least sensitive of all the cultural groups in that, it seems.
Which is probably why it got so out of hand, because they're just like, do what you want. We don't give a fuck.
Yeah.
It doesn't bother me any.
Well, I put out some feelers out on Facebook, and I want to kind of point out a few of the funny ones for those that haven't seen them. But what people's feelings were on St. Patty's Day, and Carlene's like, do you pinch people that don't wear green on St. Patty's Day?
Again, you should be wearing blue.
Blue.
If you're a true,
you pinched them because they should have had blue.
If you're a true blue St. Patrick's Day, you also can't say patties.
No,
that's derogatory.
Oh, is that?
Especially if you use T's instead of D's.
Oh, okay. All right, well, fair.
Patty with T's is short for Patricia. So you're actually calling, like, if
Gotcha. I understand. Right.
And
Kevin says it's rookie drinking day. That's true.
That's
something we didn't look up. I wonder how many DUIs happen on St. Patty's Day.
Probably. I would think less now. You can say Patty's. I'm not Irish. I don't give a fuck. I would think less. I think we covered that before with Uber and Lyft and all those helping out.
That's the bigger communities, not communities like. Well, I suppose like out here in the country, there's not that access.
I honestly haven't really celebrated St. Patrick's Day in quite a few years. I'm just like, all right, I
haven't really either.
I have shit to do.
Pretty much.
I don't have time.
And Jessica says, is it cultural appropriation, same as Cinco de Mayo?
Beautiful, right?
So she's right online.
And again, I think it is. It's just that the Irish don't give a fuck. They're
Potentially, yeah.
Hey,
or they're just trying to stay low. Like, hey, remember the last time? We came over, everybody treated us like shit.
Yeah, right. Get right off the boat and they're throwing potatoes at our
yeah.
faces. Like, no, we don't need this anymore.
Jerry Bias says, not sure if it should be a national holiday, but he wouldn't be upset if it was. We wonder why that is.
Nice.
Yeah.
He said stop dyeing beer green. Also.
Oh yeah, get rid of the green food coloring of beer. I hear you.
I agree. I agree with that.
Alex says happy at Potatoes Day. So Jay's favorite joke is, how many potatoes does it take to kill an Irish family?
0. I'm a terrible human being.
For you.
I'm a terrible human being. I'm not going to read it.
Deanna, she said she wore a "Kiss Me, I'm a Detroiter" shirt in Dublin. No one else got the joke, but an old Irish dude did kiss her.
That's genius. It's genius, and it's sad that nobody got the joke. That's a good joke.
It is a good joke.
I bet she was probably very upset to go all the way there with that shirt, being like all pumped about
waiting for somebody to
and nobody got it. That's awful.
Yeah, that's unfortunate. And speaking of Twitter, we do have a little tweet community out there that loves to interact with us.
It's at arguably C, and I'm a jackass. That's all I know.
This is very true. It's true. All right, so in our Twitter community, we put out the same message, and we our friends over at Things Joe Hates. I knew he had something to hate about St. Patty's Day.
He's a smart dude. I'm looking forward to hearing this.
He is. He's good. I said, what do you hate about it? He says, I hate it. He says, I hate the mockery of all things Irish. Nice. I hate the green beer. In fact, I'm not even sure that St. Patrick's Day's color was. I'm not even sure it's green. St. Patrick's color was blue, so he was already on.
Yes. Yes.
So apparently, this is not the only fact you found online, right?
Yep.
And then on the other hand, he loves that he can get his hands on some corned beef and bangers.
Okay.
Bangers and mash. Right?
You cover the bangers, I'll cover the corned beef.
I mean, that sounds kind of perverted.
I picked the wrong one.
You know what? I'm not really familiar with bangers. I know it's sausage, but that's about it. And poor Irish, again, I'm American.
Yes.
I just happen to have some relatives that hung out.
The funny thing is that corned beef, the American version of it, is with grained corn, and that's with mixed in with the beef and all that, right? No,
what do you mean?
Like the grains of corn? No. Okay, what the hell is corned beef?
It's corned.
Okay, how do you?
So it's a treatment.
How do you corn it?
So like pastrami and other cured meats, some are cured with salt or whatever. It's put in a brine solution with other herbs and stuff, and they call it corning.
Okay, so that's the process of doing it.
Yes.
I thought they put grains in there too. That's why I thought they called it corn. That's my bad.
Yeah.
So there. But I know that it originally came from in Ireland when they had meat, which was few and far between back in the day. They would cure it, and to do that, they would use their giant,
potatoes, leprechauns, shamrocks. Shillelaghs.
Oh, none of
Snakes?
those things. None of those things.
No? Okay.
They'd use their giant
hands.
You make it really difficult when I'm trying to find my thought.
You look like a little Italian guy with your little hand.
I know, I'm doing like a little hand.
there.
So the blocks of salt that they would use, they would call corn.
Oh, okay.
Those were corns of salt, and they would use those to cure the beef, and that's why it's called corned beef.
Gotcha.
So I did know that little tidbit. I didn't know. I thought it had grain in it. I really did. I don't
Not
eat
that
it.
I know of.
I tried it once. Fucking disgusting.
I love it.
Oh.
So the first time I had it was the second time that St. Patty's Day was on either a Friday or Saturday, and in my adult lifetime,
all right.
adult drinking lifetime.
You made it sound like it was the second time ever.
Well, I mean, happens every 7 years unless it's a leap year, but
right.
So anyway, I went to the local bar by my house, and they had corned beef. It was something like 1:30 in the morning, and they were just basically giving it away. And at this point, I'd eat anything, and I'm like, I hate cabbage. Well, I ate 3 bowls of that stuff, and I was in love. I love it. Absolutely fantastic.
I
love
can't.
Corned beef.
It's so gross.
What's so gross about it? It's just
the
salted
texture.
meat.
Yeah, the flavor.
You like
everything.
pastrami?
I mean, mixed with. I don't just like eat pastrami.
You don't
plain.
just eat pastrami plain, like a nice slice of good pastrami.
And maybe I never had good pastrami. I don't know.
I love cured meat.
Is it the same as like pepperoni or salami? Are we getting too far out of the wheelhouse? Okay, then well, that makes. I'm German, so I guess.
Yeah. That's all ground
I
up.
guess I love the sausage. I can't wait for the memes from that one. Yeah, well,
Jay
here we go.
loves the sausage.
Love the sausage. Just love to take the sausage and put it right
Please,
in my mouth.
somebody capture that. Somebody,
Fuck.
please. Well, that's St. Patty's Day.
We're
St.
gonna
Patrick's Day.
we're gonna end on that.
I mean,
Perfect.
you got anything else?
Nope. Gonna go get me some sausage.
There you go. Some bangers. Some bangers and mash. So,
All right. Well, hope you all had a great St. Patrick's Day. I hope you're all filthy hungover, and I hope that your work day is going just you're getting nothing done.
don't forget to
stick
go
it
to
the man.
confession. You got to get that out of the way the next day.
Yeah.
Yeah. let's
Do,
get that.
definitely do that. Just don't take your kids.
Hey, don't take anything too seriously. It's just interesting to find out the reasons behind the traditions we have and the things that we do. And I believe the way we celebrate St. Patrick's Day is very American. I don't believe.
Oh yeah.
I don't believe other places celebrate it the same way we do. That's for sure. Same thing with like Cinco de Mayo. And
One thing I didn't touch on were some of the smallest parades.
say again.
Some of the smallest parades.
What do you mean?
Some cities that took pride in the smallest parades. I don't remember the cities' names. I didn't make notes of it because it was just kind of an odd thing. But the one was, I think, 26 feet.
Is that how long the parade went?
Yes, and I think it's in Ireland.
Oh goodness.
And it's literally from one pub to another. That's their parade.
Would
And
you ever want to visit Ireland?
Yes,
What
for sure.
for? What would be your
What is that?
main motivation to go there?
I want to go everywhere.
Well, okay, fair enough. But
So-
what attracts you about Ireland?
It's green, so weed. No,
They don't get
No,
enough sunlight there.
because
for that.
the history. You
Yeah.
know, that's the same reason I want to go to Europe. Same reason I want to go to Germany, Australia. Probably not Iraq.
I mean, I'd love to visit the Middle East because, again, you want to talk about history. It's a hell of a lot
Oh,
more
yeah.
history in the
Yeah,
Middle
yeah.
East than there is in Ireland.
I don't really have a specific reason. I just want to see as much of the world as I can because I know that I'm not going to live again because I'm not
You're not going
Catholic.
to get reincarnated?
No,
Well,
at least I don't know that.
That's true.
So I'm not just going to kick back and
And wait for the next lifetime.
yeah, probably not a good idea. Probably not a good way to approach things.
Not a very good Virgo thing of you anyway.
We've been away from it for so
I know,
long.
I just had to bring it back. Had to call it back.
All right, we're ending on that one.
Yeah.
I'm going to take my sausage Virgo face and go get
I
some
would love to
sausage.
visit Ireland too, but I mean, when I joke around about my last name, it is kind of a concern for me, and maybe it shouldn't be.
I doubt it.
You're
Nobody gives a
probably
fuck.
right. You're probably
Yeah,
right.
you'll be
but,
fine.
I mean, that last
Plus,
name.
you're a capable guy. You handle yourself.
Is
You'll
that
be
what
all
it
right.
is? Yeah. I might just blend right in. I just got to work on my Irish accent.
Please don't.
No?
If you're going to do it now.
No. I almost was going to try to break it out. But it's
Because
fine.
you did it earlier and it was so bad. You sounded Mexican.
Mexican Irish, man. What's wrong with that?
Nothing, but that's not what you are.
I'm American, damn it.
Oh, right.
Through and through.
We're all American. Well,
American
not all,
mutt. I'm an American mutt.
most Americans are mutts.
Absolutely. I'm
All
proud
right.
to be it.
We're wrapping this one up.
Thanks for listening. Get a hold of us. Tell us how many things we got wrong and how much
Right.
you hate our
For sure.
our viewpoints on St. Patrick's Day.
Or
You can
St.
email us.
Patty's Day with T's, Patty's Day.
You can email us at arguablycorrectpodcast@gmail.com.
Or you could tweet us at arguably C.
That's right.
Those are our. Those are
Our radio announcer
Professional voices?
We could try that. You want to do that a little bit here?
my radio announcer voice is way more
Let's entertain.
obnoxious than that.
What would that be?
Sunday, Sunday, Sunday.
Well, that's your TV announcer voice. You know, that's your announcing the what do you call it? The
I have
monster trucks coming into
somewhere.
town.
I have an entire prank phone call of me on New Year's Eve calling random people at 3:00 in the morning using a radio voice, giving away a prize to be like ring in the new year, and I was reading Trivia Pursuit questions to them, and of course they were getting them all wrong because they're reading like the hardest level. So finally, I was like, I put them on a quote unquote brief hold, and gave them the right answers while they were on hold. When I brought them back, I still told them that they were wrong and they lost, and then I hung up on them.
Such a jerk.
But it was a great prank phone call though.
I love your prank phone calls.
But I used my radio voice through the entire thing.
Well, I'm sad that I missed that day. We did not have this recording equipment available at that time.
Hey, we're back on Arguably C,
Oh,
and we
WWW.
are talking about St. Patrick's Day.
Yeah.
That voice, that terrible
I need one of
voice,
them little whistles. Yeah, you know.
just to do hack fucking
Little
radio.
hack radio, yeah. I mean, we do hack podcasts. That's close enough, right?
Right? Yeah, why not? All right, we're really leaving this time. That's it. We're wrapping
Hey,
this
check
one
out
up.
our friends, Things Joe Hates.
Yes.
Great podcast. Definitely has some It sounds negative, but it's entertaining. So check
I feel
him
like him
out.
and I would get along great.
I'm sure you would. I'm sure you would. He's quite entertaining. The whole group
Yes.
there is entertaining. So thanks for listening. Be sure to check back in Monday noon every week, except for holidays, because just like the federal government, we get days off too.
Apparently, except St. Patrick's Day, we released one this week.
There you go. On that note, we're gonna have a beer.
Yes. Again.